Page 41, Peter Pan's Flight. Got eighth notes moving around all over the place. We're using the A chord that we covered in the previous video. If you haven't watched that video, please do, because I talk about moving the hands and different strategies and the A scale and different things. I don't just talk about that thing. I add a little more to it. 3/4 time here. I want to talk about this one hand at a time because the hands are doing different things. Right hand first, eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and. 1, see, we're in this A position now for the A chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and. We're just using the notes in the A chord. Then that's 1, 2, 3. Go to the second line. They're just quarter notes. C sharp. Then the third line is the same as the first. Go down to the fourth line here. Eighth notes there. Okay, they're saying lift and prepare. Isn't that nice of them? The idea is in the last measure of that fourth line you have a rest in the right hand. During the rest you want to come up here for the last line. See, the last line, the notes are written here, but it has an 8 VA over it, so you got to come up here. So that's what they're telling you there at the end of the fourth line, is get your hand up here. They're being nice about it, but that's what they mean. And then again, that little arrow's telling you got to move again. That arrow is not part of the music, by the way. You're not going to see that in music. That's just something this author has stuck in there to help you. But if you'll notice that notes in the last two measures are down here, but it has an 15 MA. And that's the same as 2 octaves up. So you go up 2 octaves. There's 1, there's 2, and you play it up here. So in the second measure you're here, and during that rest you got to come up here. Now if you have a short keyboard and you can't go that high, you just go as high as you can go, and that has to do. That's fine. Left hand, you're here, down here. You're still in the same position. You're just using 2 notes. That's really all the left hand's doing. Throughout this whole thing, that's all the left hand gets to do. Well, bummer. Put the hands together here. 1 and 2 and 3 and. I'm hoping you can get that pretty much. Let's go down to the last line. That's where the hands are moving around. So, well, the fourth line, let's start there, because you're still in this position. In the fourth line. Then as you put that right there, get this hand up where it goes, and then here. And then you got 1 beat to get it up here. The left hand stays there. Just leave the left hand where it is. That's the idea. And once you can do that without any hesitations anywhere, everything's fine, then add in these articulation. The staccatos. This is slurred, but this nice light wrist action. And you lift up between each of these slurs in the right hand. So there's lift up. Just like so. The last line there, when you're moving around, again, lift up between each slur, you're up here. You have to lift up between slurs there because you have a rest. That's handy. Well, for the dynamics, it's loud at the beginning, whatever you think loud is, and really it's more for the right hand than the left, but whatever. So loud, and then moderately soft. It's like an echo. Come up a little bit to moderately loud, and then the third line down, again loud to start, and then an echo. It's moderately, and up a little again and moderately loud, and then the last line, it's moderately soft. It starts soft, you're up here, and then soft here. See, it's nice on a piano because at the higher up you go on the keyboard, the easier it is to play soft, so that comes in handy. It helps. It's not so difficult. Speed-wise, well, it says flowing along. Well, I guess you got to think about flying around the room or somewhere as wherever you're flying. How fast would you sing it if you were going to sing it? Keep that in mind too. They've added pedal. They got real problems with what they're doing here, but let's talk about it. Before the pedaling, they're saying pedaling like the whole first line. So I'm going to push the pedal down right after I play the notes, and I'm going to leave it down. Now I suggest you lift the pedal up at the end of the first line with the E in the right hand. When you lift that up, lift the pedal up with it so we get a little silence before we go to the next phrase. So it's here, the last line, the last measure of the first line. So there's a little silence there before I go on. Second line is the same thing. You push the pedal down right after you push the notes. At the end of the third line, lift the pedal up with the right hand E, so we get silence before we do. It's a phrase. It's a new here. And then in the fourth line, the last two measures, you push it down and leave it down to the end, and let it all run together. And then at the end, everything comes up together. That's what they're suggesting. I don't agree with that at all. If I were going to play this piece myself, I would not pedal it that way, so I want to make a suggestion. Pedaling is only a suggestion anyway. It's up to you and what you like to hear. If you have a teacher, they'll tell you what you like to hear. But otherwise, I want to give you some other ideas. I'm assuming they're keeping the pedaling simple. Well, I want to complicate it a little bit. Now, basically what I want to do is I only want to pedal the measures with the eighth notes in it. I want to hear the staccatos, and the pedal will cover it up. So at the beginning, I'm going to pedal the first measure. Right after I play the notes in the second measure, I lift the pedal up. And the next measure, I push it down again because there's eighth notes. And the second line, I don't pedal that line at all. I like to hear the staccatos in there, and I don't need the pedal there. But the third line, again, I'll pedal the measures with the eighth notes. The fourth line down, I don't pedal that at all. I don't need. And then the last line, here it might be easier for me to say I just don't pedal the second measure. I pedal everything else. So here, the first measure, and then lift, and then down. And then at the end, the pedal and the hands come up together. That's my impression of the pedal. That way I can hear the phrases and I can hear the staccatos. Otherwise, the pedal just covers it all up. You have to experiment. The ultimate judge is going to be you and what you like to hear. But if I were to play this, that's how I would pedal it. However, for the play with me, I'm going to pedal it like the book is showing, even though I don't agree with it. So let's try that together. I'm not going to do the dynamics, so just play it slowly to make sure we have the right notes and rhythms. So I'll give us 3 counts. 1, ready, and go, and 1. 2, 3,